What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and today we are doing some Mech Arena basics because I've had a lot of people, especially on this alt account, say to me, Scape, how in the world are you getting so many credits and A coins and able to progress the way you do? So I'm going to give you 5 things that you should be doing, especially each day, to make sure that your progression goes and is consistent, all right? These are pretty basic things, but they are important things for you to be doing every single day, and I'll kind of go through the general process of what I do to give you an idea, all right? So first of all, the most important thing, or I would say the first thing that you should do, is to go into the shops, all right? So I have the shops right behind me. You won't see them on the screen, but it's a button right behind me. And when you go into the shops, you will, of course, have your free daily crates that you can get, a few of these each day that you can get. That can sometimes have A coins and goodies in there, and then one of your pilot crates that you will be able to get, all right? So you'll be able to see the stuff you can get right away, and after that, I would say you probably want to, on this main first shop, buy 2,000 credits worth of stuff, all right? So for me, that would be a couple $1,000 things here, like this plasma. I don't really care about this one, but I just need to spend 2,000 because, as you can see, for one of my dailies is to spend 2,000 credits. So we're going to do that and get this other one for the long arm 10 to make sure we fulfill that daily. Okay, so right away I've gotten a couple crate dailies and then the daily for finishing up buying stuff for the 2,000 credits worth. And you could also buy one of the rare implants on the pilots setup, but this one is not necessarily needed unless you have something specific you want, like a range implant for like arc turrets, like something that's going to be really useful. But usually this is kind of expensive and you definitely don't want to do it every day. It's a lot extra credits that you don't have to spend, but it's good to look at just to see if there's something that you want to get specifically for that day. Now, the other important thing to do while you are here in the shop is to watch these ads, all right? These ads alone are very, very important to do each day. Now, of course, this is only on mobile, but if you're someone who even plays on PC, I highly recommend having a mobile device or using an emulator just to collect these, because if you collect these all daily, you'll get a ton of credits. You'll get like over 200 blueprints, and you also get some A coins. I'm guessing somewhere between like 10 to 20 when you do all of these and then the other crates that we'll see on the main page. But this alone, which is crazy, this crate, the amateur crate, guys, this used to be like in beta, you used to like bank on like one of these a month. Now you can get one per day. It is crazy how much that has changed in the game. But yeah, obviously this is something that you want to make sure you do each day, because the blueprints that you'll get from this just accrue over time. As you get into higher levels of like level or 5-star, 6-star, and then maxing out like a mech or a weapon, having all these blueprints is going to be key to make sure you are spending as few A coins as possible, especially when you get to those later stages, because you need a ton of blueprints to do it. So doing this every day is super important, all right? Similar to that with the watching ads perspective, you also want to, on the bottom, you'll see that I have the gold and the white crates, and they have a little play button next to them. Those little play buttons also will let you play some more ads to get free crates there. You can get 2 gold crates and then 3 of the white crates this way. There's also 3 ads that you can watch at the end of your first 3 matches to get 3,000 credits each time. You don't have to necessarily do all of these. I think the crate ones you definitely should do, but if you're short on credits, that's also really important to do. So really, it's like going to the shop, watching your ads, collecting your free crates, and then spending 2,000 credits is really the first step, all right? That's just one, but that's important key stuff to do. Number 2 would be to then look at your events, all right? You're going to be able to, in your daily and part of your pilot daily stuff, collect a couple things that you just did by opening those crates. You'll also have probably this ad one that'll be finished, and you probably have acquired 120 blueprints if you watched all those ads. And if you collect those 4, you will also probably get the 200 XP one, and then you just have to play a few matches, all right? So you've already finished almost all of your dailies just from doing the stuff in the shop without even playing a single match. That's what's crazy. All right, you also want to be aware of your weeklies. Right now, the only thing I have to do is collect 30 dailies. So after I finish my dailies for today, I should be able to get this 200 one. If you're on top of these, this will cycle every 5 days. So every 5 days, you will get 200 A coins, which is pretty solid, okay? So that's an important thing to make sure you do. But aside from looking at your dailies and your weeklies and collecting all that stuff, you also want to look at these other events that are here. We have a derby going on, there's a playoff, there's Deathmatch Mania, sometimes there's like an Alkalade challenge, or there's other Deathmatch challenge that are related to 2v2. You want to look at all this stuff, because if you look at Deathmatch Mania, this is telling you to do some stuff in 5v5. If you look at the derby event, there's different things that are related to CPC, other ones that are like, you know, play with friends in matches, different kind of stuff. All of this is important to keep in mind when you're doing the next step, which is playing some matches each day, to tailor it to this, right? So if you have to play a few matches in the day, play some 5v5 if it helps you with an event, because then you're killing two birds with one stone. You're able to do event stuff, do your daily stuff both at the same time, and just get more resources. All right, so going to the shop, number one, doing your events, number two, and number three would be to play some matches. All right, I will say at the very least each day you should be playing 2 to 3 matches. That's usually in CPC, but it could be in 5v5 or 2v2 depending on your events, right, that we were just talking about. So depending on those and all that will define like what you do for your dailies, but it should allow you to complete the rest of those daily events, and then you will have like more stuff that you can complete. Again, 2 to 3 is probably the baseline that you should do each day for playing matches. But if you want to play more, like for some of these extra events, if I want to play more Deathmatch Mania to make sure I complete this one, or I want to do more to catch up in like the derby event stuff, you absolutely can do that as well. But it's just about how much time you have, how much time you want to spend daily doing that kind of stuff. All right, so overall, that covers that aspect of number 3, just playing some matches. And then number 4 would be to play some tournament. All right, I know tournament for a lot of people is not favorable. It's very grindy. I actually don't play a lot of tournament either in any of my accounts right now. But going into tournament, you will see that if you look at the heat brackets and that kind of stuff, if you even like starting on Tuesday, just keep playing one match in novice, like if you just enter one match and then even leave, you would still get some resources like a few keys, a crate, some credits, that kind of stuff. So it at least makes sense to play like one match in tournament each day so that you can get a few resources. Beyond that, of course, if you want to invest more time in a tournament to try and get more A coins and different better rewards and that kind of stuff, absolutely do that. But that's all up to you guys and how much you want to grind in a specific day. I would say just putting in one match that you'll easily get your ticket back for the next day is worth doing. Okay, and that generally covers the main thing. But the 5th thing I wanted to say, and this is kind of a general one and an important one to think of, is to have a goal. You always want to have a realistic goal in mind when you are playing this, and you want to have one, not a new one each day, but you want to have an overall goal and be thinking about how you do that goal. I say that because there's a lot of things that you need to get in this game. Maybe you're trying to advance in the gear hub, maybe you're trying to get some pilots, maybe you're focusing on a specific upgrade for a mech or a weapon. Any one of those are great goals to go for, but the reason to have that goal is because it gives you a defined vision on the way to go to that next goal. If you do not have a defined goal, you will easily start using your A coins and your credits for like minor upgrades or buying things in the shop or playing like spinning for an event crate that you probably won't win. There's a lot of people that do this kind of stuff because they want those instant rewards and they don't work. You need to have patience and you need to have a specific goal. If you look at my account right now, I have over 5,000 A coins just sitting there. Now there is a reason for doing that. I have been saving to get some legendary pilots because most of my pilots, aside from Diesel here, are all rares and they're terrible. My pilots are really bad. I missed out on the epic ones and it doesn't make sense for me to buy the epic ones right now when I just want to spend my marks on the legendary ones coming up pretty soon. So I'm waiting on doing that. But as you can see, I haven't bought my first legendary pilot. I still have those 5,000 A coins sitting in there. I only need a little bit under 4,000 to buy my first one. Some of you are saying, why haven't you bought it already, Scape? Well, because aside from just having my resources, I'm trying to be cautious about when I spend big resources, okay? If I go into here and I look at this playoff, now this playoff I don't really care about, but you'll see in this playoff, it has use 200 A coins. All right, there are some playoffs that have some great rewards. This is actually how I got Eclipse. When you have a specific goal in mind or something like that that you're doing, achieving those goals around other events to get bonus rewards is always a big plus to do. All right, there are going to be instances where some weapons that are going to be realistic or good for you to get, or mechs or anything like that for this. Right now, this one for the leaderboard is just for implants for the repeater. There's no way I'm going to be getting that weapon on this account anytime soon, so I don't care about this one. But I am going to keep saving 8 coins so that I can get multiple legendary pilots at a time when a good playoff comes along that I can get a good reward, hopefully. Because if I can do something like I did with Eclipse and get something else really awesome because I saved a chunk of 8 coins for it, that will be very beneficial. Now, this doesn't always work out. Sometimes you get a whale in your group and they just outspend you. But it definitely makes sense to try and save and, tailor your specific upgrades to times that it's going to benefit you the most to maximize your resources, especially if you're free to play. So I say all that I hopefully give you guys a guideline. Again, you want to have your daily stuff that you do, of course, like we said, which is going into the shop, doing all the stuff in there, then collecting and doing all your dailies and looking at your other events, playing some matches around your events, playing a little bit of tourney, as little maybe as possible for some of you, like me, I don't play much, and then making sure that you are working towards those regular goals. Those are 5 important things that everyone should be focusing on in general. All right, if you are not sure what goal you should be focusing on, I totally understand that. There are plenty of people in the Mech Arena Discord, in my Discord, in different ways online that people can help you for, figuring out what you should do with your hanger. And of course, I can always try to help with that too. But for that kind of stuff, generally, you want to have a good goal in mind and then just progress toward it. So I hope all that was helpful for you guys. Again, just covering very basic stuff. If you guys have other comments that are things that you do every single day that help you, feel free to comment with those below, and we will see you out there on the battlefield.